Hi, my name is Quinn, and this is my new podcast called Biggest Midwest Emo Fan. Or probably Diary of a Midwest Emo Fan. Um, as I'm definitely not the biggest Midwest Emo fan. And not in like a humbling way where like I think I actually am the biggest Midwest Emo fan, but in like a I don't actually know a lot of facts surrounding the Midwest emo scene. But Midwest emo is just like big vibes, you know? And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in the first episode is like, what does Midwest emo mean to me as someone who, I don't know, someone who didn't like have, see, I don't know what I'm trying to say at this point. Cut. Just kidding. I don't even know what I was saying. But like, I'm not the biggest Midwest emo fan. I don't know a lot of facts. I know enough to like care about the genre, but like the way I care about Midwest emo is like just vibes. You know, listening to it, relating the songs to my life, my experiences, what I've experienced in this world compared to, how everyone else experienced the world. So it's just like I don't know. My life growing up was super weird, and I didn't really have a lot of friends. And I didn't really even discover Midwest emo until I was well past high school because it came out quite literally, like, not it as in the genre. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, big, hard hitting albums, Title Fight, Modern Baseball. I'm really bad with album names, so I'm just listing bands that like have put out albums in those years, Mom Jeans, Hot Mulligan, like really when this genre started to gain traction. And I really do think I blame modern baseball a lot for said traction to what we call like modern baseball. Sorry, to what we call Midwest emo now, right? Like, I feel like I might be a little bit crazy in saying that. A lot of things I'm going to say are crazy, but this is all vibes based, Like I said, big vibes around here, and it's Diary of a Midwest emo fan. I don't know, man. I relate to Midwest emo in like really I think strange way that I don't know is necessarily shared. Um, Someone I've known for a long time, I found out recently, listens to Midwest emo. You could very easily figure that out though if you talk to him for more than 5 minutes. That's like kind of a joke. Kind of not, because like you talk to me for 5 minutes, I'm gonna say some Midwest emo fan shit. Like something's coming out. Anyways, um, yeah, and it's just like I know that like me and like that person I was talking to have a very different life growing up. Like I didn't have friends really, and when I look at modern baseball, especially modern baseball, I don't like it's not really even about the music for me, which is crazy to say because I think there are better Midwest emo bands out there. And I know a lot of people are going to come at me for saying that. Like like in terms of straight up talent, in terms of straight up like because that sounds harsh and I'm not trying to be harsh about it, but like in like straight up just like techniques and like the differences between like Mom Jeans and Hot Mulligan and then modern baseball, like technically in like a technical sense I would consider Mom Jeans or Hot Mulligan to beat out modern baseball any day, right? And that's kind of where I'm coming from with this conversation. Is like Modern Baseball is one of my favorite bands. Not because necessarily the music, but it's what the friendship meant to them all, to everyone who was involved. And that goes beyond the band. If anyone out there also purchased the You're Gonna Miss It All anniversary edition and read the book, and like you'll understand that like the photographer who took a lot of those photos um was also part of their like little circle of friends, and like they even mentioned like tour managers and things like that, like it was more than just the band. And you hear that come alive in their music too. You understand it's more than just the band. It's whoever's recording the videos. It's whoever's you know mixing and mastering the sound, because they make it sound really good. It's whoever's doing whatever with the recording. Like it's everyone. It's like their whole crew. And that's really like amazes me. I've had my longest friendship has been probably like 12 years now. My ride or die, the person I can count on for fucking anything in this world, pardon my language. Yeah, like she is my crew. Like who else is my crew? I don't have that kind of connection with anybody. But there are definitely a few local bands. Not all of them, but definitely a few like local bands to where I live. That like I hear that come through in their music, and it makes me really nostalgic for music I didn't experience when I was a teenager. Right? I didn't get to experience modern baseball until I was probably 19, 20. Like I I just wish I could have like found them sooner. But I'm glad I found them when I did. And like everything happens for a reason. And life's just really weird like that. Like I don't want to go too into detail about my life on the internet, really. Although this is called a Midwest emo diary. I forgot already. Diary of a Midwest emo fan. I don't, for privacy reasons, I don't want to disclose too much in like personal information or whatever. But like, I do just want to say that like I had a really interesting weekend, and something I got excited about was not worth getting excited about, and I knew what the income was going to be, and I yet was still hopeful that the income that the outcome would be anything other than what it ended up being, and I'm not by any means disappointed or whatever. Like I just don't feel anything about it anymore, because this isn't the first time this exact situation has happened. But it helped me understand things a lot more. And I just like I don't even know the point of what anything I'm saying is. I don't even know how I got to this conversation. I don't even know what's happening, man. You guys, I'm going probably a little nuts. Um but I mean, I guess to tell you like this story, like when you wait so long for something and it meets your expectations, do you have high expectations? Okay, no, that's not how I would word this. If you wait so long for something and whatever happens kind of meets your expectations of both knowing it would be worth the wait, but also knowing that it's not going to last that long. What do you do? Right? Like, at the end of the day, I have to like give myself the respect that I need to move on from the situation and remove myself from it as a whole. But at the same time, I don't want to. And like, that's probably has something to do with like how addictions work. And like, yeah, I might be addicted to this person. But it's like, I'm tired of being put in the same situation over and over and over again, and it continues to have the same outcome every single time. And you've started losing count of how many times he's done the same thing to you. But you still can't help but think about him almost every day. Like, when I kind of started diving into Saturdays at Your Place a little bit, I remember it must have been around the time they like released tarot cards, where and I hope I'm not alone in this experience, but TikTok was making fun of them because of the way that they were saying tarot cards, right? Like tarot cards instead of like tarot cards. And yeah, TikTok was relentlessly making fun of them for that. That's like what 90% of my TikTok page was when I like kind of first started getting into TikTok too, right? And then I didn't hear about them for a long time. And then I heard about them again. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, oh, maybe this band isn't such a meme band. Like, I listened to them for a little bit, and then I felt kind of weird because I'm like, this kind of feels like a meme band, right? Like a meme, whatever. But I think that's because TikTok influenced me to think that, because they were all making fun of it. And yeah, I didn't hear anything about them for a long time, and they started popping up again, and then I started listening to it again, and I'm like, wait, tarot cards. Oh yeah, everyone used to make fun of these guys, and I was like, that's why I never got into them. But like, they're actually good. Like, I enjoy it, right? And then I started actually paying attention to like the theme in tarot cards and like the lyrics and everything, and I was like, this vaguely represents a situation that I've been in. Like, how come this guy sounds like he's singing about talking to somebody at a party, or like seeing somebody he likes at a party? And it's like, this is somehow the exact experience I've had, like literally down to the fucking basement and the tarot cards. Like, I literally don't get it. I literally absolutely don't get how that song is like about an exact experience I've had with the exact feelings that this song provokes. And like, both parties had the same feelings, I think, from the sounds of it, from what I've learned recently. And it's like, and still just nothing happens. It's like, you know, how can I have all this main character energy? How can I have this, like, I'm worth it, and, you know, but somehow the only person that I want to look at me that way doesn't, you know? And it's like, it's this weird thing, because it's not that I'm unhappy with, like, myself or who I am, which is, like, kind of what Midwest Emo is about. It's about, like, I don't know, like, a lot of the songs have this theme of, like, oh, I hate myself because I didn't, you know, land the girl, or I hate myself because I said the wrong thing that one time and I'll never stop thinking about it. Or it's like, or it's like, or it's like, haha, I just love my friends so much, right? Like, it has all these, like, kind of debilitating, like, sayings about, like, who you are and whatever. But, like, I don't hate myself. And I think it's about more than that. It's about how I think being put in certain situations activates or alleviates, neither of those words are what I'm trying to think of, elevates your, like, mental illnesses, like anxiety and depression, and like a common theme of, like, smoking weed in these songs too, kind of, as someone who is also a bit of a gardener, um it's like they're using the weed to just, like, feel normal, you know? And that's, like, exactly kind of what it is. Like, I don't, I think this kind of started because I wanted to kind of say how I don't think I necessarily have an addiction to this person. And I don't think that I do. It's just a really tough thing to kind of explain. But yeah, I don't know if I'm actually going to put this out in the world, but I kind of want to. This is kind of fun to do, just sit here and talk about Midwest emo and, like, kind of relate it to my life. Like, I just, you know, I had this experience lately where I just kind of realized I need to start doing things for myself, doing things I want to do, um, and just not being apologetic about it, and just facing fears, and, like, just so many lessons were learned in just a single, and just, like, a night, a month. I don't know how you would categorize the this the whole situation, which I'm not gonna go, again, I'm not gonna go too much into detail about, because y'all don't even know about my life like that. But just, like, so many life lessons were learned in a really, really short amount of time. And I'm just trying to kind of figure out how to navigate it all. And I think starting this podcast is going to be the way to do that. And I think this first episode is super interesting in terms of, like, just being the first episode. You know, I've always wanted to have a podcast, and I had an experience doing a podcast with some friends. If you follow me, if you know me, you know it was the Do It or Don't show. Really, really fun podcast. Really, really love the people I was working with that. Unfortunately, just things didn't end up working out. And I want to goof around. I just want to be myself. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And, like, I'm not opposed to having guests by any means. If someone wants to come on my fucking podcast, they're absolutely welcome to. It's definitely a bit of a weird one. Um, but it's just, like, I just need a place to, like, kind of rant get things off my chest, even if it's incoherent, which I'm sure half of this is going to be, because I may have done some gardening before hitting the record button, because it's more fun that way. Because it's how I digest and understand Midwest emo. You know, like it truly helps with the experience. There's something about like doing that and then putting on some like Midwest emo that like really just again enhances the whole experience of like what that genre is to me, right? And that's the whole point. Like no one has to agree with what I'm saying. These are all just opinions. Like what I was talking about Midwest emo and like for it being just like a vibe and like it's more about like the friendship and like, you know, these guys might be sitting here. This is I think one of the points I was trying to make earlier, where these guys are like sitting here like crying about girls and whatever. They're always so happy to be around their friends, right? There's a specific song I want to shout out from Modern Baseball, which frankly I forget the name of. So I'm gonna pause the episode while I look it up. We're back. Sorry, I again, little bit of gardening, so it is a little hard to remember things off the top of my head. And I'm much more of a visual person. Like if I can look at it, I can look up the album and then I'm like, oh, it was this album, and it's like, oh yeah, that song makes the most sense for what's in my head, right? Like I'm not a very visual person. Anyways, so I had to just kind of see, right? The song I was going to shout out, The Thrash Particle by Modern Baseball, does this in a really good way where it's like he, you know, had this crush on this girl for a really long time from the sounds of it, and, you know, couldn't get her out of his head until he wrote a song about it. And, you know, throughout the whole song, he mentions like two of his friends' names. And it's like, throughout this whole thing, like your friends are there for you, regardless of what's going on, you know? And maybe that's just my way of interpreting it. And it definitely is. Like I said, this is just all opinion based. And like, I'm not trying to actually care or learn about, you know, what each line of every Modern Baseball song means and like what they felt when they wrote it at the time. Because like, we'll never know that kind of information, right? That's way too much to ask of bands and artists. And like, I'm not someone who's gonna look up an interview and like remember anything that I read, because again, I don't as we just witnessed and as I just explained, I'm much more of a visual learner. So I can't really digest facts or information like that, which is what I was saying kind of at the beginning of this. This is just a vibes-based show, you know? I'm just vibing. I'm just talking about Midwest emo. And I guess today's episode is fucking Modern Baseball? I don't know. It's all over the place. I'm just struggling with some feelings in my personal life. And Midwest emo kind of got brought into the conversation. I think I mentioned it just because like this person also enjoyed Midwest emo, so it was a big part of like a conversation that we had recently, and it was a conversation I really liked having because no one has as similar as a music taste as me and this guy, like scarily similar. And like I kind of could tell before even having the conversation that this is the kind of music he listened to. And to be honest, he is a musician, so to be honest, you know, the kind of music that he makes and puts out, like, I don't want to say resembles Midwest emo, but there's definitely title fight, citizen kind of influence in it. And so it's it's definitely something that's like extremely up my alley, but it also makes it like really hard to enjoy someone's music without thinking that you kind of know them on a personal level, and not in a bad way either, just like getting close with someone and then having to like cheer on their band, and then it makes you feel weird, and then I don't know, it's just this whole thing. I went through a situation over the weekend where just like I had a talk with this person about Midwest emo, and I never really get to like yap about Midwest emo and have like an engaging partnership in the conversation, right? It would always be me being the excited one, and the other person going like, yeah, uh-huh, like the classic meme, right? With like Ramona and fucking Scott Pilgrim, right? Right, like the classic meme. Like he's over here talking about Sonic and she's like, yeah. Like that's what it feels like, me with Midwest emo and the guy over there being like, yeah. Or like whoever I'm talking to. Sorry, there's like something in my eye or whatever. But like it wasn't like that with this person having this conversation, because they enjoyed the kind of same. Okay, take two. So I'm not even sure where I left off. I got cut off there. But it's like, I think I was talking about how, this person I was talking to had such a similar taste in music with me, and that's like kind of rare. Not a lot of people who are attractive, who I find attractive, who are my age, who are nearby, have such a similar music taste than like as me, which is crazy because I see people all the time with like all the other factors besides the like same music taste, and then it feels like artificial if they have that music taste because I introduced them to those bands, and like just like I just had this feeling about this person the first time I met them, and that was a long time ago, and somehow like there was nothing disappointing when we finally had like a one-on-one conversation. There was like absolutely nothing disappointing at all about this person. And I knew that was going to happen. And I knew we were going to have just like the best time talking. But then after that, it's like nothing happens. And it's like, not that I expect anything to happen. I don't want to put that out there. I don't expect anything to happen. But it's like every time you have such a good conversation together, and you try to reach out and be like, hey, what's up, do you want to grab like coffee sometime, blah blah, something like that, right? And just you're constantly not getting responses, waiting around. It's like, it's not fun. It's not okay to be like doing stuff like that, I think. At least I don't know what other people think, of course. So it's just like frustrating. It like finally happens, and then the cycle repeats itself again, and it's like every time it gets a little closer to being more of what you expected, but then he pulls away again. And like, it feels more like being an avoidant than it does have anything to do with like love bombing, right? Where people might accuse it of being like love bombing, and it's, I don't interpret it that way. But I think a lot of people who hear the stories probably like, if I were to tell you the story, it would probably sound like it was love bombing, but I don't think that's the case. I think something else is going on, and I just don't know about it. Not that I'm saying I deserve to know about it or like whatever, but like, it's the whole leading on part, right? And I'm just like, I've done it for the plot so many times, right? And like, I am someone who's almost 30. And I kind of feel like I'm over the whole doing it for the plot part of my life. I think we're past that. I think I'm allowed to be past that. Even though this podcast is kind of like for the plot. But it's okay. It's whatever. But it's like for my plot. Right? It's not for the plot. It's not for the audience to witness, you know? Like, you guys are the audience. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, the metaphorical audience in which the plot would be for. But, like, this is for my plot. For you guys. The real audience who is my plot. Right? Like, I think that's the big difference. I feel like there's a difference in that for sure. So yeah, I think that's a good spot to end it. I really hope I don't look like an idiot when I'm watching this back and editing it, but I hope it makes it out into the world, because this is a really fun idea that I had, and I just again, I'm just trying to get some feelings out, because I just love Midwest emo, and it's helped me come to terms with a lot of things. And I think it's especially going to help me come to terms with what I'm experiencing now. And I don't know, what's been on my, what if we talk about what's been on my like listen list lately? Recently, like newer on my radar, Riley, exclamation point, really good stuff. Any specific standouts, Quinn? Thanks for asking, you guys. Yeah. Um, again, it's one of those things, I don't remember the name of the song. I'm so sorry. But it is on their newer album. And I had it on repeat. I think it's Keep Your Cool Man. Is that the album? That's the song. Keep Your Cool Man. That one. That's a really, really, really good song. I care about it a lot. It is definitely some vibes of, again, just some like fucking reminds me of real life experiences that I've had, and it helps me process what those feelings were at the time and how it's affected me now, and like, have I moved past that? Have I not? You know, things like that. So, any other things that you've been listening to, Quinn? I've been listening to See, I Need a Visual, Worry Club, Anything Else. I found them through TikTok. I also found Riley through TikTok. TikTok's great for Midwest emo. Y'all should get on that. Like, so many good bands on there. That one's another good standout for me. I don't think it necessarily relates to relationships in a sense of like yearning for someone, but it definitely relates to relationships in a sense of like grieving for someone. And I think that's a bit of a different vibe than I think what most Midwest emo songs are. And I really, really dig that vibe in the time that I need it. And in a time that I need it. Because I'm grieving whatever the fuck is going on with my real life situation. So, anyways, I'm gonna end it there, guys. Thanks for listening. This is Diary of a Midwest Emo Fan, episode 1. Catch you in the next one.